Stop following that child! The security guard's voice boomed across the shopping mall, but Michael Sterling didn't stop running. His chest heaved. His $3,000 Italian shoes slammed against polished marble. Shoppers jumped aside. Mothers pulled their children close. Phones lifted to capture the scene. A billionaire chasing a 7-year-old girl through a crowded mall on a Tuesday afternoon. Michael didn't care about any of it. That little blonde girl ahead, weaving through the crowd with her mother, laughing about something innocent and pure. She had Lydia's birthmark, not similar, not kind of like it, identical. The crescent moon shape behind her left ear, exactly where Lydia's had been. Exactly the same size, the same curve, the same placement. Michael had built a billion-dollar empire on impossible patterns. And this was impossible, because Michael Sterling had no children. After the accident, he'd made certain of that. So, who was this little girl? And why did she carry the one genetic mark that should have died with his family 5 years ago? Michael had buried his wife 5 years ago. He'd held her cold hand in the hospital. He'd watched them cremate her body. He'd scattered her ashes in the ocean she loved. And yet, here was a child, alive and laughing, wearing his dead wife's genetic signature like a message from beyond the grave. "Sir, I will call the police." The security guard was closer now, radio crackling. Michael stopped abruptly, hands on his knees, gasping for air. The girl and her mother had disappeared into the parking garage. Gone, he'd lost them. "What the hell is wrong with you?" the guard demanded, hand on his belt. "You can't chase kids through the mall." Michael straightened, trying to find words that wouldn't make him sound insane. I saw someone I knew." "A 7-year-old girl?" "No, yes, I mean..." Michael ran his hands through his hair. How could he explain? How could he make anyone understand? The birthmark. She had a birthmark that... "You need to leave, now, or I'm calling the cops." Michael nodded slowly, backing away. But his mind was already racing. The license plate. He'd seen the car they were walking toward, a silver Honda Civic, maybe 10 years old, dent in the rear bumper. He repeated the license plate number in his head like a prayer. 7 letters and numbers that might lead him to the impossible. 3 days later, Michael sat in his downtown penthouse, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city he'd helped build. On his desk lay a folder that private investigator Rachel Torres had delivered an hour ago. He hadn't opened it yet. His hands trembled every time he reached for it. Lydia's photo sat beside the folder, their wedding day. Her hair swept back, the crescent birthmark clearly visible behind her left ear. Her grandmother had the same mark, her mother too. 1 in 10 million, Lydia used to say, tracing the shape with her finger. "We're the moon-marked women." Michael opened the folder. Emma Parker, age 32, registered nurse at County General, single mother, adopted daughter 7 years ago through a private agency specializing in embryo adoption. Embryo adoption! The words hit him like a punch to the chest. Michael stood abruptly, the chair clattering backward. His mind raced back 5 years to the worst week of his life. Lydia's accident. The hospital. The doctor's devastating words. "Your wife was 8 weeks pregnant. We couldn't save either of them." The funeral. The grief. The decision he'd made a month later, standing in the cold fluorescent lighting of the fertility clinic. "Destroy them," he'd told Dr. Reynolds. "Destroy all the embryos. I can't do this anymore." Dr. Reynolds had nodded sympathetically. "I understand, Mr. Sterling. I'll take care of it personally." But what if he hadn't? Michael grabbed his keys. The fertility clinic looked exactly as he remembered. Sterile, cold, efficient. Dr. Reynolds sat behind his desk, considerably less sympathetic than he'd been 5 years ago. "Mr. Sterling, I don't understand what you're implying." "Show me the destruction records." Michael leaned forward, hands flat on the desk. "The embryos I asked you to destroy. I want to see the paperwork." "That's confidential. I'm the patient. Show me." Dr. Reynolds sighed and turned to his computer. Several clicks later, a document appeared on screen. Michael leaned in, scanning the forms. Date of destruction, method, witness signatures, and at the bottom, his own signature authorizing it. Except it wasn't his signature. Close, but not quite. The M in Michael was wrong, too rounded, and he never looped his G that way. "This is forged," Michael said quietly. Dr. Reynolds' face went white. That's not possible. Someone forged my signature and took my embryos. Who had access to this paperwork? Mr. Sterling, I can assure you our protocols. Who had access? The silence stretched between them. Finally, Dr. Reynolds deflated. There was a lab technician, Dr. Angela Reeves, brilliant woman, but she had personal struggles. We discovered some irregularities in her work about 8 years ago. She was terminated. What kind of irregularities? I can't discuss. Michael slammed his hand on the desk. My wife is dead. Her embryos were stolen. You will tell me what happened, or I will destroy this clinic and everything you've built. What did she do? Dr. Reynolds closed his eyes. She couldn't have children of her own. The investigation suggested she may have been reassigning embryos scheduled for destruction to adoption agencies. We could never prove it conclusively, but where is she now? I don't know. We fired her. She left the state. Michael was already texting Rachel Torres. Find Dr. Angela Reeves. I don't care where she is. Find her. The answer came back in 2 days. Phoenix, Arizona. Working at a small research facility. Living alone in a modest apartment. Michael took his private jet. Angela Reeves answered her door, looking tired and thin, dark circles under her eyes. When she saw Michael, something flickered across her face. Recognition and guilt. Mr. Sterling, she whispered. You know why I'm here. She nodded slowly, stepping aside to let him in. Her apartment was small but neat. Photos of smiling children covered the walls, none of them hers. Michael realized they were probably all embryos she'd saved. A shrine to her crimes or her conscience. Maybe both. I knew someone would come eventually, Angela said, sitting heavily on her couch. I thought it would be the police. Tell me what you did. I couldn't destroy them. The words tumbled out like she'd been holding them for years. Every time I was supposed to terminate embryos, I saw potential. Lives that could be. Families that could be formed. I struggled with infertility for 10 years, Mr. Sterling. 10 years of treatments and failures and heartbreak. And here I was, destroying viable embryos every week. It felt like murder. So you stole them. I placed them, she corrected, with families who desperately wanted children, through a private embryo adoption agency. Anonymous, clean, everyone signed papers. The adoptive parents never knew the truth, and the original donors, I'm not a donor. I was a grieving husband who just lost his wife and unborn child. Angela's face crumpled. I know, I knew then too, but I convinced myself I was doing the right thing. Those embryos were Lydia's last gift to the world, her genetic legacy. I couldn't just... How many? Michael's voice was ice. How many of my embryos did you steal? 3. There were 3 viable embryos in storage. I placed all 3 with the agency. 3. Somewhere in the world, there were 3 children, Lydia's children, his children, living with families who had no idea where they'd really come from. I need their names, Michael said, the families who adopted them. I don't have access to those records anymore. The agency sealed them. Anonymous adoption. Then I'll get a lawyer and unseal them. Mr. Sterling, please. Angela stood, desperation in her eyes. Those children have families, parents who love them. If you tear that apart, they're my children. Are they? Angela's voice was soft but firm. Lydia's embryos, yes. Your genetic material, yes. But children? Those people changed diapers at 3 a.m., soothed fevers, taught them to walk and talk and read. They're parents. You're a stranger with a DNA connection. The words hit harder than Michael expected. He thought of the little girl in the mall, Lily, according to Rachel's research. Lily Parker, who called Emma Parker Mom, who had a life and a home and a family that had nothing to do with him. But she had Lydia's birthmark, Lydia's eyes, Lydia's smile in the photo Rachel had found. I just want to meet them, Michael said quietly. I lost everything, my wife, my child, my future, and now I find out that future is out there, living and breathing, and I wasn't even given a choice. Don't I deserve at least that? Angela was crying now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I was giving life. I didn't think about the grief I was stealing, the closure I was destroying. Michael left without another word. Emma Parker's house was small but well-maintained, flowers in the garden, a tire swing hanging from an old oak tree. Michael sat in his car across the street for 20 minutes before working up the courage to approach. Rachel had advised against it. Get a lawyer first. Do this properly. But Michael couldn't wait. He needed to know. He knocked on the door. Emma answered, and recognition flashed immediately across her face. You, the man from the mall. She started to close the door. Please. Michael held up his hands. Please, just give me 5 minutes. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I just need to explain. Explain why you chased my daughter through a shopping mall? Because she has my wife's birthmark. Emma froze. What? My wife, Lydia. She died 5 years ago in a car accident. She was pregnant. They told me both she and the baby died. But we had embryos in storage. Embryos I thought were destroyed. Your daughter, Lily, she was one of those embryos. Emma's face went through several emotions: disbelief, anger, fear, and finally a careful calculation. You're insane. I can prove it. DNA test, medical records, whatever you need. I'm not here to take her from you. I need to understand what happened. Please. Maybe it was the desperation in his voice. Maybe it was the way his hands shook. But Emma opened the door wider. 5 minutes, and if you scare her, I'm calling the police. They sat in her living room, Michael on one couch, Emma perched on the edge of another like she might need to run or fight at any moment. He told her everything: the accident, the embryos, Angela Reeves, the forged signature, the birthmark that had started it all. When he finished, Emma was silent for a long time. Lily is my daughter, she finally said. I chose embryo adoption because I couldn't have biological children. The agency said the donors were a loving couple who wanted their embryos to have a chance at life. Anonymous? That was the deal? Anonymous? They lied to you too. Maybe. Or maybe you're lying to me. Michael pulled out his phone and showed her photos. Lydia on their wedding day, the birthmark visible. Lydia laughing, that same gesture Lily had made in the mall, unconsciously touching the mark. Lydia holding a chess set. She'd been a champion player in college. Emma's breath caught. Lily looks exactly like her. I know. This doesn't change anything, Emma said fiercely. I'm her mother. I've been her mother since she was 3 days old. I'm the one who... Mommy? A small voice came from the hallway. Who's here? Lily appeared in the doorway, blonde hair in a ponytail, curious blue eyes, Lydia's eyes, taking in the strange man in her living room. Michael couldn't breathe. Up close, the resemblance was even more striking. The curve of her chin, the way she tilted her head, and there, behind her left ear when she turned slightly, the crescent moon birthmark. Hi, Lily said. I remember you, from the mall. You were running. I was, Michael managed. I'm sorry if I scared you. You looked sad. Are you still sad? The simple honesty of children. Michael felt his throat tighten. A little bit, yes. Why? Emma started to intervene, but Michael spoke first. I lost someone very special to me, someone who looked a lot like you. Lily came closer, studying him with that unfiltered curiosity only 7-year-olds possess. Did she have the moon mark too? Michael nodded, not trusting his voice. My grandma says it's magic, Lily said. Is that true? Yes, Michael whispered. I think it might be. Emma stood abruptly. Lily, honey, go play in your room for a bit, okay? The grown-ups need to talk. After Lily left, Emma turned to Michael, tears streaming down her face. You can't do this. You can't come into our lives and... I'm not trying to take her away from you. Then what do you want? Michael didn't have an answer. What did he want? His wife back? His old life? The child he'd lost 5 years ago? None of those were possible. But this child, this living, breathing piece of Lydia, was real and here and laughing in the next room. I want to know her, he said finally. I want her to know where she came from. His voice broke. I want something of Lydia to exist in this world beyond photographs and memories. She's not Lydia. I know that. But she's Lydia's daughter. Doesn't that mean something? Emma wiped her eyes. You could take her. With enough money and lawyers, you could probably get parental rights. Is that what this is? No, God, no. I've seen how much you love her. I see what kind of mother you are. I'm not trying to replace you. I'm trying to find a place where we can both exist in her life. That's not how the world works. Maybe it should be. They stared at each other, two people bound together by an impossible situation neither had chosen. Finally, Emma said, DNA test first. If you're wrong, you leave us alone forever. And if I'm right, then we figure it out, but slowly, and on my terms. Lily's well-being comes first, always. Agreed. The DNA test took 2 weeks. Michael barely slept. He threw himself into work, but every meeting felt hollow. Rachel kept him updated on her investigation. She'd found a lead on a second child, a boy, also 7, adopted through the same agency, living with a wealthy family in Connecticut. When the results came back, Michael stared at them for an hour. 99.9% probability of paternity. Genetic markers matching Lydia's maternal. A line, Lily Parker was, without any doubt, his and Lydia's biological daughter. He called Emma. The results are in. Her silence was long. Then, I know, they sent me a copy too. Can I see her? Tomorrow, the park on Maple Street, 2 p.m., and Michael, I'm trusting you. Don't make me regret it. The next day, Michael arrived early, watching from his car as Emma and Lily appeared. Lily ran for the swings, her laughter carrying across the park. Emma sat on a bench, rigid and watchful. Michael approached slowly. Thank you for this. I'm still not sure it's the right thing, Emma admitted. But Lily asked about you. She said you seemed lonely. She has this thing about helping sad people. She once brought home a stray dog, 2 cats, and tried to adopt a homeless man. Despite everything, Michael smiled. That sounds like something Lydia would do. They sat in awkward silence, watching Lily play. Finally, Michael said, Can I talk to her? Emma hesitated, then nodded. Keep it simple. She doesn't understand the whole situation yet. Michael walked to the swings. Lily looked up and grinned. You came back. I did. Do you like chess? I don't know how to play. Would you like to learn? They sat at a picnic table, Michael setting up a travel chess set he'd brought. As he explained the pieces, he watched Lily's face light up with understanding. She had Lydia's quick mind, her strategic thinking. And when she concentrated, she unconsciously touched the birthmark behind her ear, the exact gesture Lydia used to make. This is fun, Lily said after capturing his pawn. Can we play again? Anytime you want. Promise? Michael glanced at Emma, who was watching with an unreadable expression. I promise. Over the next month, the visits continued. Park meetings turned into dinner at Emma's house. Michael was careful, respectful of boundaries, never overstepping. But slowly, impossibly, something like a relationship formed. Not traditional, not what anyone would call normal, but real. Lily started calling him Michael, not quite formal, but not intimate either. She'd tell him about school, show him her drawings, ask him questions about everything from why the sky was blue to whether her fish could feel love. And every moment felt like both a gift and a wound. Lydia should have been here for this. Lydia should have heard Lily's laughter, seen her daughter learn chess, watched her grow. Rachel's investigation into the second child, Owen, led Michael to Connecticut. The Henderson family lived in a sprawling estate, the kind of generational wealth that made even Michael's fortune look modest. He'd called ahead, explained the situation through lawyers. They'd agreed to meet, but their tone was cold. Mrs. Henderson met him at the door, her smile predatory. Mr. Sterling, our lawyers are already inside. The meeting was nothing like his first encounter with Emma. The Hendersons treated this like a business transaction. Yes, Owen had. Been adopted through embryo donation? No, they hadn't known the specific origin. Yes, they'd be willing to verify DNA if Michael paid for the testing. And absolutely not. He would not be meeting Owen. Our son has a stable home and loving parents, Mr. Henderson said coldly. We're not interested in complicating his life with strangers who share some genetic material. I'm his biological father. You're a sperm donor who wants to feel important. Owen has a father, me. Michael tried a different approach. I'm not trying to replace you. I just want him to know where he comes from. His biological mother is irrelevant to his life. The words hit like a slap. Michael felt his carefully maintained composure cracking. Her name was Lydia. She was kind and brilliant and would have loved him. Loved a child she never met, never carried, never birthed. Mrs. Henderson's laugh was sharp. That's not love, Mr. Sterling. That's fantasy. Owen is our son, created through the miracle of modern medicine and our commitment. Your wife, sad as her death may be, has nothing to do with him. He has her birthmark. That stopped them. Mrs. Henderson's face paled slightly. What? The crescent moon, behind his left ear. It's genetic. My wife had it. Her mother had it. If Owen is my biological son, he'll have it too. The room went very quiet. Finally, Mr. Henderson stood. This meeting is over. If you attempt to contact our son, we'll file for a restraining order. Our lawyers will be in touch about the DNA test, purely to close this matter legally. But make no mistake, Mr. Sterling, Owen will never know you. Good day. As Michael was escorted out, he caught a glimpse through a window. A boy in the backyard, playing with a dog. 7 years old, dark hair unlike Lily's blonde. And when the boy turned his head, Michael saw it. The crescent moon, exactly where it should be. Owen touched it absently, the same gesture Lydia used to make, the same gesture Lily made, and Michael had to turn away before they saw him crying. In the car, Rachel said gently, "Some battles you can't win. He's my son. He's their son. You're just DNA to them. To Owen, you're nothing." The truth of it gutted him. He drove back to the airport in silence. That night, back home, Michael sat in his study with a glass of whiskey he didn't drink and a photo of Lydia he couldn't stop looking at. His phone rang. Emma. "I heard about Connecticut," she said. "Rachel called me. I don't know why, but she thought I should know. Are you okay?" "No." "Do you want to come over? Lily made drawings today. She wants to show you." Michael closed his eyes. One child who might grow to know him. One child lost behind walls of wealth and lawyers. And a third somewhere that Angela couldn't or wouldn't tell him about. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, he said. 6 months later, something resembling normal had emerged. Michael was a regular fixture in Lily's life. Not a father, but not any stranger either. Emma had gradually warmed to the arrangement, seeing how much joy it brought Lily, and how much it healed something broken in Michael. One evening, after chess and dinner, Lily asked the question Michael had been dreading. "Michael, Emma said you were married to a lady named Lydia. Is that who I look like?" Emma and Michael exchanged glances. They'd agreed to be honest, but age-appropriately so. "Yes," Michael said carefully. "Lydia she would have been your biological mother. What's biological mean? It means you came from her, like you have her eyes and her smile and—" "The moon mark," Lily finished, touching the birthmark. "That's why you recognized me. That's why you chased me in the mall. I'm sorry about that. I was surprised and not thinking clearly." Lily was quiet for a moment, then, "Did Lydia want me?" Michael's breath caught. "More than anything in the world." "Then why didn't she keep me?" "She died, sweetie," Emma said softly, sitting beside Lily. "Before you were born. It was an accident." "Oh." Lily processed this with the practical gravity of children. "That's sad." "Very sad," Michael agreed. "Do you wish I was with you instead of Emma?" The question hung in the air. Emma tensed. Michael knelt down so he was eye level with Lily. "I wish Lydia could have met you. I wish things had been different. But Emma is your mom. She's loved you and raised you and been there for everything. I could never wish you away from that. I'm just grateful I get to be part of your life at all." Lily hugged him suddenly, fiercely. "I'm glad you chased me in the mall." Michael looked at Emma over Lily's shoulder, saw tears in her eyes matching his own. "Me too, kiddo," he whispered. "Me too." Later, after Lily went to bed, Emma and Michael sat on her porch with tea. "Thank you," Emma said, "for what you said. You could have made this so much harder. You're her mother. That was never in question. But you're her father, biologically, and in some ways, emotionally now too. It's complicated. Everything worth having is complicated." They sat in comfortable silence. Then Emma said, "I got a call today. From the adoption agency. Apparently the Hendersons are suing them for fraud. The whole situation is coming out." Michael's jaw tightened. "Good. Maybe Owen will get to know the truth someday. Maybe. But maybe the truth will hurt him more than help him. He deserves to know where he came from. Does he? Or does he deserve a peaceful childhood with parents who love him, even if the origin story was built on lies?" Michael didn't have an answer. Emma continued. I've been thinking about something, about what makes someone a parent. Is it DNA? Is it being there? Is it love? Because if it's just DNA, then I'm not Lily's mother, but I am. I know I am. You are, Michael said firmly. DNA doesn't make someone a parent. Love does. Showing up does. You've been showing up for 7 years. Then what does that make you? Michael looked out at the darkening sky. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not her father, not in the way that matters, but I'm not nothing either. I'm a connection to who she is, where she came from. Maybe that's enough. Is it enough for you? The question cut deep. Was it enough to be on the periphery of his daughter's life? To be Uncle Michael instead of Dad? To watch Emma parent while he observed? It has to be, Michael said finally, because the alternative is nothing, and I've had nothing before. This is better. Emma reached over and squeezed his hand. For what it's worth, I'm glad you chased her through that mall, even if you did terrify me. Michael laughed, the sound surprising him. Yeah, me too. The night grew deeper. Somewhere upstairs, Lily slept peacefully, unaware of the complicated web of love and loss and biology that had brought her into both their lives. Somewhere in Connecticut, Owen slept too, never knowing the man who'd stood outside his house, crying. And somewhere, maybe, a third child existed, Lydia's last gift to the world, unknown and unknowable. Michael thought about Lydia constantly. What would she think of all this? Would she be happy that her embryos had become children? Angry that it had happened without consent? Heartbroken that she'd never met them? He liked to think she'd be happy. Lydia had always believed in second chances, in finding light in darkness, in the stubborn resilience of hope. As Michael drove home that night, his phone buzzed. A text from Lily sent from Emma's phone. Good night, Michael. I'm glad you're my friend. Friend, not father, but something. A connection, a place in her life. Michael pulled over and cried. Not from grief this time, but from something more complicated. Gratitude and loss tangled together. The impossible miracle of Lydia's daughter existing in the world, and the heartbreak of experiencing it all 5 years too late. He texted back, Good night, Lily. I'm glad you're my friend too. Then he drove home through streets that felt less empty than they had 6 months ago. The penthouse was still lonely. Lydia's photo still sat on his desk. The grief was still there. But now there was something else too. A little girl with a crescent moon birthmark who played chess and asked impossible questions and carried Lydia's genetics into a future neither of them had planned. Was it enough? Was genetic connection without daily presence still parenthood? Could biology matter if love and time mattered more? Was Michael Lily's father, or just a man who shared her DNA? Was Emma less of a mother because she hadn't carried Lily herself? Did Owen belong to the Hendersons completely, or did some part of him still belong to Lydia's legacy? And in the end, when love and biology pull in different directions, when the truth brings both healing and harm, when second chances come disguised as other people's children, what does family really mean? Michael didn't have the answer. Maybe there wasn't one. But if you were Lily 20 years from now, looking back at the complicated truth of your origin, would you want to have known, or would ignorance have been kinder? If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more emotional narratives that make you think. Comment below, team biology or team love? What makes someone a real parent?